Hi guys, right here. So for this video, it's about who should you summon for the upcoming patch. So the current patch banner, we still have Sui Zai, Jin Qiu, and Yuran on the banner. Then the upcoming banner, we're gonna have the patch for the Zhou Hong. So I'm gonna go through one by one. I'm gonna go through the current banner first. We still have a few more days when I post this video. You can still have consideration. The first one, Sui Zai. Okay, Sui Zai, after his buff or his balance from the test server until the global server, a few things. I really like his design, even though I'm not a furry, but I really like his design model. That's very cool, very awesome design. And he's actually very strong in PvP content. Like, I'm actually using him for my big bulk main team to fight Moriyama team, cause usually when I fight Moriyama team, I'm usually just refreshing them because I didn't summon for Moriyama. I'll just refresh all the Moriyama away. But with Sui Zai now, I can fight Moriyama team. Alright, then but Sui Zai is a very high investment as per, so you need him to be R6 to actually be very strong for PvP content. But if you are early game player or mid game player, Sui Zai R0 is actually very helpful for you as well, because I saw some player comments about it, because he cannot get, he has lifesteal, he has 100% counter attack, he have disease on his doom grabs here, he have AoE damage, S1 damage, true damage. He's actually a very unique Esper in terms of other early to mid game PvE content, like tower content. You can use R0 Sui Zai. Story content, Sui Zai can help you solo because counter attack chance is 100%. You have lifesteal, you won't get debuff, you won't get control. Even though you can't get yourself buff, but he's gonna have his Untamed Foray to keep speeding up himself. So basically, for early to mid game, when you don't focus on PvP content, one copy of Sui Zai can carry you in your early stage story content and tower content as well. But when you go until late game, and then you are more focused on PvP content, then Sui Zai will starting to be fell off if you are at R0. So I would say that he's a very high investment as per. If you really want to play it like player like me that is very end game, very late game ready, then he definitely wants the high reso, because of the R6 reso here is the core value of him to get the extra stats of attack and defense permanently increase. So Sui Zai is very strong, but if you can't get him R6, and if you're a late game player, you already clear all the story content and tower content, I would recommend you to skip. Next one, Jin Qiu. So Jin Qiu currently is on the banner as well. Jin Qiu, even though he slightly fell off, it's not because he get nerfed, it's more like there's a lot of different counter in the meta now. Like for example, like Artiar is one of the very straightforward counter against Jin Qiu. But Jin Qiu here is still holding a very strong ground. He's still doing one of the best true damage Esper other than Momo. Momo is multi-hit true damage Esper, and then Jin Qiu is AoE damage true damage Esper. Still, if you build like Lu Shang Yujing team with a Jin Qiu core and putting Chu Yao in at your R6 Jin Qiu, it's actually very hard to die. It's very annoying. He's still being very strong. I still use him everywhere with my Mavis team or maybe Spirit Aegis Jin Qiu team in triple threats. So I would say his value is actually very high as well. To actually play him, R2 is all you need to combo him with Mavis. But if you want him to stand alone, to solo, to kill the enemy, then he needs the R6 to get the Intimidate buff forever, to get the shield. So if you're a Jin Qiu lover, then definitely get him to R6. He still have his value in PvP. Maybe not that often now, because Wu Yu fell off. Wu Yu fell off means Jin Qiu usage fell off as well. But overall, he's still very strong. Still one of the meta Esper, just slightly one tier lower, I would say. Then the other one is Yuran. So Yuran here, for me, I would say it's a skip for you, unless you have a lot of the meta Esper like R6 Elif, R6 the other thing already, and you have extra Wishstone. Then for Yuran, R2 is where you should actually stop. R2 or R4, somewhere here. R6 not really that needed. The bonus turn here might actually fuck up your turn as well. So I would say R2 and R4 is a good place to stop. Other than, if you have higher than R4, it's not worth to spending Wishstone on Yuran. But overall, Yuran is pretty much a safe skip. Then the upcoming patch, which is the Zhou Hong patch, we're gonna have the first week. We're gonna have Zhou Hong, Leora, and Elaine here. So first thing about Zhou Hong, It already confirmed that his debuff, the overtime debuff, cannot apply on the boss. This is already confirmed by the dev, so it's no longer really a very good usage in PvE content other than tower. But to be honest, if you want to clear tower content, you don't really need Zhou Hong. There's a lot more other Esper for you to use. So if I'm a late game player, if I have the Wishstone, I won't get Zhou Hong because he have no possibility of usage in PvE content. Like let's say Sui Zai, right? If I get Sui Zai to R6, I still might actually can use Sui Zai in Falsetto Fantasy. I still can use Sui Zai for Fafnir. I can use Sui Zai for other bosses because Sui Zai doesn't rely on the specific debuff, right? But Zhou Hong here relies on his overtime Silver Rim debuff. So if you're fighting a content, let's talk about PvE content, all the boss cannot take this overtime debuff, which means there's zero value for Zhou Hong to actually play in the PvE content. This is the first thing. Then for PvP here, PvP we have a lot of different meta Esper already. We have like Moriyama team, we have Momo team, Wuyu team, Nathaniel team, Yukini team, Sui Zai team, Chuya with other combo team. There's so many Esper now, and with one Zhou Hong here, I don't think Zhou Hong is actually like that PvP meta changing like Sui Zai. Like Sui Zai appear, I made a lot of video about Sui Zai is very good against Momo with a specific equipment set, very good against Moriyama, all those things, right? But for Zhou Hong here, you are too reliant on overtime debuff, and at least at PTR server, I'm using him at R0, I still can't find a usage for him to actually be good in PvP. So if you really like his design, maybe just get him as a collection. Or unless you wait until global server when there's others player get him and use in a different team comp, then maybe we'll see some possibility. But at least for now, I'm trying in test server. I don't think that he is going to be that broken or that strong compared to the other PvP Esper we have in game. Like if you gave me 600 Wishstone, if you ask me, I would invest in Sui Zai or invest in Zhou Hong, I would definitely pick Sui Zai. Right, this something like this. So it's really pity because I really think his design is cool. Just sadly, he's too relying on his Silver Rim overtime debuff, but it's a bit hard to play in the PvP content. Like his damage here also relies on overstack to actually one-shot people. Like if we take a look at Moriyama, his kit is kind of similar like Moriyama. Moriyama doesn't rely on his Silver Rim debuff, all this thing, because Moriyama himself in his kit already have the one-shot mechanic. Like this is the R0 Moriyama. In his S3 here already have the kit. Whenever his attack is above the enemy, he'll ignore the damage mitigation and the 85% of the defense, and you kill them and you reset the ability cooldown. It doesn't rely on his Rezo or other kind of debuff. Like he have defend down disease, he have seer, he doesn't even rely on his inhibitor. And meanwhile, Zhou Hong here, he relies too much about his overtime debuff. Like his S3 here, you damage people, you prioritize people who have overtime debuff, you kill the target, you restore your max HP and you reset. So the reset concept is like Moriyama, but his damage multiplier is high, but it's the part that he make him strong is the ignore defense here for R6, but I don't think he's really worth the value. But at least for now, this is early stage, right? We are still at test server. It's not the finalized version yet, but at least for now, I don't think he's really that worth the value. Deora here, I would say just skip because we have better wave clear now. Unless you're at early game or mid game, just a new player doesn't have an AoE clear Esper yet, then Deora is a good choice. Elaine here is a pretty good choice for you to use in Falsetto Fantasy or Fafnir. Her main usage is Fafnir and Falsetto Fantasy Propertor for the sleep Esper. As her reso value wise, I would say every single reso on her is good, but she doesn't rely on her reso, doesn't rely at all. I would say R2 will help for extra DPS, but she doesn't need as well, so I would say it's skip. Mainly Leora and Elaine here is on read up is because of their Valentine skip. Then the next one is gonna be TA and Bidao. So TA here, At least get her to R2 because her R2 usage is actually very strong in PvE content. PvP R2 is not that important, but PvE is very important. If you have R2 TA, you unlock a lot of possibility in your Falsetto Fantasy bossing content. R4 is something good, but not a must. R6 here is very good for min-maxing in Falsetto Fantasy. Not a must get, but it does help. But because of this AP push here, you no longer need the RNG for the 30% AP push, because usually here you absorb the AP percentage, then you spread it for all your ally. You no longer need to go through this RNG. Then Bidao here, our new Esper, Flow, right? Yeah, just skip, he's useless. Alright, then then the next one is Gabriel. Gabriel here fell off. I would say he's fell off now, even though she is one of the best immunity Esper. She does one very good job, which is in beat bout or triple threats. If you have a Divinate to have immunity at the start, so you can block the Tolan's S3 and maybe block Yuhimi, the Hamstrap, because you can apply immunity for your team first. Other than that, not really a must, so I would say skip as well. Then the last one is going to be Clara. If you have extra Wishstone, you can get for a Rezo, but if not, just skip her, because you can get Clara Rezo from the loyalty box. And Clara here, right, R2, the immunity extent is something good but not important. R4 here, base defense plus 20%, not that important. R6 here, some min-maxing for you for your Shadow Guild, because your heal 3 time means you dispel 1 more extra time. Something good, but not a must as well. So I will recommend you to save the Wishstone for something more meta-changing Esper. Like Elif, for example. Elif is one of the meta-changing Esper, like Sakura, like some R6 Lien, R6 Embla. All these things are more about meta-changing or game-changing experience Esper. The upcoming patch 1, the Zhou Hong patch 1, I think is actually a safe patch. You can actually save your Wishstone if that's not really an Esper you really want to go for. Right, so that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is Yakishiba Tales, Epic Bullet Boy, thank you so much for your support. And for the supporter or patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Agni, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwalks, Rimu, Chani, Antonio Winterspoon, Cragren, Riku, Fred X Iris, Calamity, Rocco Stenzions, thank you so much for your support. Special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat for the latest tag. Thank you so much for Code Wardeners, Calamity, Agni, Love Fatima, Fatima Little Underwear, Bloods, Riku Fred, Chani. Thank you so much for your support.